Guys, welcome back to Year of the Full Moon. We are on episode 4, but we're going to review the third Puppet Master movie, which is Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge.
Good one.
So, yeah, what's your initial thoughts?
Okay, this is, I think, as far as we watched up before. And
I think we watched the fourth one.
We might have watched the fourth one. I don't remember what happened.
It was forgettable.
Yeah.
That's all I would say.
And I just remember before, this was my favorite one. And watching them again, going through like we have, this is still probably up until this point my favorite. Because, I mean, the second one was good. The first one was a good movie. It just, there had some overacting problems in it. Second one didn't really have those problems.
Plus, I think the second one bumped up the effects.
Yeah.
I thought it had better effects.
It had better effects, and it was like, this one, I thought they did a lot more effects that are practical, which is big for me. Because you could use CGI, but if you use still more practical than CGI, I think that's how you should do it. And this one, no CGI, all practical.
Yeah, it was low budget.
Definitely a lower budget movie, but
it was like a high end low budget.
Yeah, it was a high end low budget movie, which I liked, and this had to do with like Nazis. So it's like Toulon. We'll talk about more, but so like one thing I really liked about it is somebody that's like a history person that likes war and stuff, and that I particularly like World War II. So I really look at that type of stuff when I look at movies that have Germans or World War II era for all sides. I try to look at them like I could zone in. I'm like that they just phoned it in. They just said, "Hey, German uniform and helmet." One thing I noticed, more or less, the costumes were very good,
which is very shocking.
Very accurate. I'm pretty sure they had the right decals on the helmets. The one guy wore glasses, and they were like period glasses, it looked like. So I was impressed by that, because especially high budget movies have a problem with that too. They phone it in, and then the lower the budget, and if you go into a period piece, they phone it in. They actually did really good, I thought, and that's what I was impressed with. They didn't just phone in; they actually took time with the uniforms. Different ranks had different types of uniforms, and I thought that was a plus in this movie, because, like I said,
it just adds to the whole, feel...
I mean, a normal watcher in a movie wouldn't notice this stuff, but if you know anything about the history behind it... It would just take you out of it. Yeah, that's my problem. I've actually turned off. There's been a few World War II movies that were low budget that I turned off, because I'm like, they didn't even try. There's a difference between, like, hey, let's make a World War II movie, and they just get the generic uniforms, and you'll see guys are supposed to be SS and they have just Wehrmacht stuff on, or hey, they're supposed to be Luftwaffe but they have Wehrmacht stuff on.
Then
or
this movie,
they knew
what they were doing.
I'm not saying they're perfect.
Yeah,
but didn't take me out of it, and I appreciated that they worked. And actually put the research into it, it looked like.
We haven't got to it yet, but there are future movies that go back to,
we'll see if that
Germany.
keeps up.
We'll see if they continue.
Which I'm looking forward to.
I
think they shine.
In Toulon's Revenge, they did very well.
Yeah.
The plot of the movie is prequel to the first movie. It's about, Toulon leaving Germany.
Yeah, I know the timeline gets weird in this series.
So, we'll talk about the messed up timeline in a moment. But plot-wise... people notice his puppets coming to life during a normal puppet show, and just the SS, right?
I wasn't paying too much attention.
Pretty much to Nazis.
It looked like they were working with the Gestapo.
Yeah.
So it could be SS. I think the helmets might have been SS.
Well, they just want the formula, but they end up killing his wife, Elsa, I believe.
Yeah, she goes to do something, and the guy just boom, shoots one of the nameless German soldiers, shoots her.
And then the main villain then kills her with a kill shot.
She spits on him, and he does it the coolest way. She's on the ground bleeding, and she spits on him, and he just reaches into her jacket, and up here, just boom, and it's didn't even have to just he knew what was going on.
Major Kraus was pretty cool. He was pretty unforgiving. There's also a Dr. Hess, which is
Kraus
a
is funny, or Klaus, I don't even know.
I think it was Kraus when I looked it up.
Yeah, Kraus would be more of a German last name, but I don't know. Whatever his name was, I guarantee you they're like, we need to cast somebody, because in the end he kind of like fashions a puppet, a Blade, to look like this guy.
So picture a Blade just a human.
And then it was just like, and he looks like him. I'm like, oh, so they casted this guy solely. Cause
they got the guy who Blade already existed.
Yeah.
Dr. Hess is the guy making like the formula. He eventually befriends Toulon, and he ends up being the essence that's put inside.
They kind of tell you in this that the puppets actually have like a soul or something of a person.
Leech Woman is Elsa, his wife.
Yeah. So like he'll be like, oh yeah, I put like such and such in this one, and then when Hess or whatever his name is gets shot, you find out he puts him in Blade. So that's Blade, this very intelligent guy.
They also mention Jester is like a bookkeeper, and Pinhead was a. I'm pretty sure he was like a truck driver.
Yeah, he was a truck.
But they don't explain what happened like was the other ones. And speaking of puppets, Torch is not in it. He was just in a second, but he came later on, so it makes sense. They bring back like the core ones was Blade, Leech Woman, Tunneler, Jester, and Pinhead. As well, they introduced the last of the core puppets, which would be Six Shooter, who's basically... Yeah, he has a funny laugh, and he has 6 arms, but he looks like a cowboy, and he actually like fires real bullets, tiny but real bullets, out of his guns. And I think that is really cool because now like the puppets can fire back. Like with Torch, they're able to like shoot stuff again, like with fire.
Oh, it's funny with
Six Shooter.
He'll just be like. Like he shot a guy out a window.
It's like 6
boom,
bullets.
Boom.
And another guy he shot like a German soldier in the back.
At one time, and you just see the German soldier just like all these squibs go off. It was really cool.
So cool. So yeah, going back to the plot, he's pretty much Toulon's getting revenge for him killing his wife, so he just kills.
It's just Toulon going out and killing Nazis. It's hilarious.
It's what I said to Shane after we watched is. I would have liked if this was the first movie and then they branched off with that idea.
Well, one thing I noticed with this is, and you could actually see with the last one too, they like Toulon. But in the first movie, you see a flashback, Toulon just blowing his brains out on the wall. And then it's like, I really like this character. But like, we want to keep bringing him back, so we're constrained to this timeline of him. Even though in the first movie he kills himself at like 39 or whatever, and then his tombstone says 41. This is taking place in 41.
In the second movie it said 1941. This is 1941.
So they're playing loosely with it.
Just like two.
They're constrained. If this was the first movie, they could take it in different directions and stuff.
They could have followed like more adventures of Toulon using his puppets for revenge.
Yeah.
And it was just disappointing that they can't really do that because the first movie he killed himself in the opening. So that sucks.
They definitely constrained a good character. Because the guy that played Toulon is really
the cool. Guy Rolfe or something, he plays Toulon in this one. He comes back in sequels, we'll get to it. But I think he's the best Toulon.
He plays a good Toulon, yeah.
So we talked about our kills briefly, about like Six Shooter shooting like that, not like major in the Nazi party just through the window. What was your favorite kill in the movie though?
That's a difficult one. Cause I mean, you got like the what's his name that drills
Tunneler.
Yeah, Tunneler does his classic. There's like actually one point.
That's my favorite.
They're in a car because they're arresting Toulon, and he like goes through and he comes out like a xenomorph.
Yeah, coming out of the chest. You could see the drill a little bit with blood.
And the German's like,
while Pinhead like strangling the other guy. That was my favorite like dual kill because it just and Toulon's just kind of sitting there because he's in shock because his wife just died and his puppets are just murdering these guys.
Yeah, Six Shooter, the time when he shot the one German like 6 times at once, and you just see all those squibs just go off, and the guy
shooting the guys through the window is also
they had some really good kills on this.
And this one. I liked this a lot because it was just really sadistic because it was at the end, so this is a spoiler. But Toulon's able to kill Major Kraus by... One, they kind of stab him with a knife and slice him so he falls to the ground.
Up in the ante, it's just before this it was the puppets killing. Then this one's too long because it's personal.
He's just standing and watching.
Yeah, he puts him almost up like a marionette.
Yeah, he uses... Pinhead puts hooks in him, and Toulon just raises him up. And he's just standing there. And then Well, I thought it was so cool. He ties a rope to like a swastika flag, and he burns the swastika flag. So when it's done burning, the rope burns too, and he falls down on like a medieval weapon.
Yeah,
axe.
medieval like
and it's like, what?
It's like
That's like some Saw crap right there.
Yeah, that was sadistic. I loved it. It was Toulon killing somebody.
That was
this time.
so cool.
I like that.
He got his revenge. So normally we also kind of like mention things we don't like about the movie too much, but looking back on it, this is like probably my favorite.
Yeah, like this.
So far.
I mean, I'm sure it had flaws that I'm over.
Like, is there anything you kind of noticed that you weren't like?
Only flaw has nothing to do with the movie. It is, I think they were still at this point wrestling with Toulon's identity and the puppets. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they? Do they kill? Like, because in the first one and the second one, they're killing innocent good people, and this one they're killing Nazis, and that's how you do it in movies. If you want nobody to feel bad for root for somebody, have them kill Nazis.
Actually, when we were watching the Video Zone for it, like just special features, they had the trailer for it, and it's in the trailer they really emphasize like, now these puppets are killing like the most vile people who ever lived, the Nazis or something like that.
Yeah,
so over the top. That's what they were going for. They wanted, who can we kill that no one will feel sorry for?
Yeah, I think this was them saying like, these guys, are they going to be anti-heroes in the future? And like, I don't really know where they go from there.
We've seen the fourth one, and I know kind of like the idea of the fifth one, and I think this is kind of like them going from villain to anti-hero, and then I think the next one,
like we said, like Toulon's a good guy in this. He was a good guy in the first one. The second one, he was a bad guy. So like Sean said in the other one, they kind of took that in the comics, like, oh, his brain was decaying, so it made him bad.
Yeah, they kind of worked on it, but they didn't know what they were doing.
At the end, it's a load of crap. It's just they didn't know where they were taking Toulon and his puppets. They didn't know if they wanted them to be good guys, bad guys, anti-heroes. And I think this could, I don't know, in the future, it could be a turning point, kind of like...
Yeah, because the movie ends, and then at the very end it says, coming soon,
–
Puppet Master 4, when bad puppets turn good.
But isn't that not the...
That's not the title of the fourth one. So it was probably a whole different idea they had.
They were struggling. They didn't know where they wanted these to go, and I think that shows. But, I mean, it worked this way. Just have them killing bad people. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, and... we know they go back to like the whole Nazi angle in future sequels. Don't know if it's done well. We'll get to that. But I guess final thoughts about this movie. It definitely is my favorite so far.
It lives up to it. I mean, it's a good period piece for a slasher movie, which you don't see often.
Yeah, that's actually that's a good point. What kind of slasher movies have period pieces?
Very rarely.
And so I think that's done really well.
Well, maybe horror in general would even just be like a Dracula or a Wolfman or Frankenstein. Not many other horror movies do go period, so
it's interesting. Like slashers it's very rare. So that is definitely a plus for it. It's unique. It stands out. I don't know for sure, but I think up until this point it had like the biggest budget.
Yeah.
They filmed it on a Universal backlot. Also, one other thing I didn't mention is there's also, I guess one thing I thought was kind of random is that probably my least favorite part is when they flash back to the flashback from the second movie.
Yeah, that was
abridged.
Yeah.
So it showed like it didn't show Toulon when he was getting like the stuff, but it just showed kind of like he laid down and had a dream of like the Jinn, the homunculus puppet.
Yeah.
And then just kind of different shots of Cairo, I think is what it was, when he was getting it. But they didn't show him. It didn't really amount to anything. It was just a random thing that just took me out of it.
That's a pet peeve of mine with movie series.
It wasn't necessary to show it again. And it kind of took me out of it because you didn't need to see it again. You knew about it. But besides that was just a small thing.
Very small.
Very good movie. Definitely the best so far. We'll get to more Puppet Master movies eventually, but the next 2 episodes we're going to be going into some movies that are related but not Puppet Master titles.
Should be interesting.
Check us out in 2 weeks.